to the day student presentation. So we have time with Laura here. So Laura's gonna also present that, as well as Sarah and Haley. So before I share the screen, Sarah and Haley, do you want to introduce yourselves so they can meet you?
Sure. Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm a senior and I'm a day student, so I'm from Connecticut.
Sorry, you're like talking to me. Hi, I'm Haley. I'm a senior at Holy Family. Senior. I'm a day student and I'm from Connecticut.
Oh, wonderful. So they've prepared a presentation on day students. So you'll see some students who don't live here. So they're going to be coming in day out. So they kind of explain their perspective of this school. So I will share the screen again. All right, ladies, you're good to go.
Day students, how we help shape the AHF community one day at a time. See what we did there? All right. Next one. This is mine? Okay. So getting to and leaving school. So we thought this was kind of important to put in because this is what makes us day students. So homeroom starts at 7:45, but the day, like your first class, starts at 7:55. So we put in when we usually get there, just for whatever day students will be driving in with us. So Haley's 7:45, Sarah's 7:45, and I'm 7:30 because I like to get there early and talk to my friends and do the homework that I forgot to do the night before. So then in the morning, we put our stuff in our lockers, we get our books for our first class, we do all that jazz before we start the day. And then sometimes if we get there early enough, like to go to mass or whatever, sometimes we'll eat breakfast with the girls who live in the dorms, because they all kind of congregate in the cafeteria, and they catch up on homework and they just talk and that kind of thing. So sometimes if we're early enough, we'll also be in there with them, catching up on whatever. Then I can't really see if it says anything there. No, it doesn't. Okay, sorry. The day ends at 2:50. So the last class goes up until then. And then right after school, sports are held. And then sometimes there's a few clubs that are during that as well, especially when drama is happening. That's also after school. So like sports like basketball, soccer, and softball, those are all held right after school. So we either go to those or leave. So we kind of just put in what our typical day looks like. So for Haley, she plays basketball and softball. So when those aren't happening, like during the fall, during soccer, she usually hangs around a while. Like when I get back from soccer, sometimes I'll see her on her way out or whatever. And then Sarah usually sticks around for a while, but Sarah works a lot. So she leaves typically right after school and heads off to work. And then I play all the sports, so I'm usually there every day after school until I get back from those, and then I stay even a little longer to just talk with people or do my homework or whatever, and then I head home. So that's kind of like the typical day of a day student. But it's different for everyone, so if you are going to be a day student, that will, vary depending on what your schedule looks like.
Okay, bear with me. I'm on a cell phone trying to read this. So, all right. So this is day versus boarding students. This is kind of like the difference between the two, and then what we kind of do together and have in common and whatnot. So for day students, we do have a lot of books and things to carry in, depending on sports or what we're doing that day. Or if you have like gym class, like for freshmen and sophomores, I usually would just like keep my uniform there sometimes, so I wouldn't have to keep bringing it in every day. Unlike boarding students who do have all their stuff there, so they just really have to bring it down from the dorms to the locker room area. We get to go home every day, so unless you're like doing something, like I'm in environmental club, so usually on Fridays, I'll stay overnight so I can just go directly with the environmental club to go and do our workshops. And we can visit friends in the dorms, so even if like we want to like stay after a little more, like we can just go up there, or whatever we're doing for staying longer, we can always go up to the dorms and talk with our friends. We, like I said before, we have to bring things like bring changes of clothes for sports, or if you want to change before drama, depending on what you're doing that day. And the last one, oh, provide our own things. Yes, we do provide our own things, unlike boarders who there's sometimes like food and snacks. Like I know I bring my own lunch to school. I don't eat the hot lunch that we have there. And then for boarders, they see their classmates and friends all the time who do live in the dorms. So they're always there. They have better access to teachers, and because most of them do live there. And they call their families since they cannot see their family every day. And they don't have to drive to school. So that's definitely a plus because I live about an hour away. So I definitely do have to wake up way early just to get to school. And they have curfews and unfamiliar rules. But as you stay longer at Holy Family, you will come to learn those rules. As Grace mentioned, we do have the handbook, and there is a dorm handbook as well. So the sisters will make sure you are up to date on that. And for both, so both of us, like I said before, have to remember to bring things down either from the dorm or to and fro our house to school. And we work together on projects, depending if you are a day student or not. Sometimes you have to plan things out with the boarders so then you can stay over a little longer to work on those projects together, depending on what the project is. And we can do a lot of things together. There's definitely, like I said, hanging out in the dorms, or before COVID-19, you could bring dorm students to the house for the weekend and whatnot, but because of Corona, definitely things have changed up a little bit.
Okay, well, I just want to throw in first that while the boarding students definitely have better access to help, it doesn't mean that, like, if we put in the effort, we can definitely get that extra help too. During study halls, if the teacher's available, they'll definitely help you. I've gotten tutored for math before, and I've went and just asked for help from Ms. Thompson for questions or anything of the sort. And also, even after school hours, some of the sisters, like Sister Raphael, who teaches science, she's allowed me to come at 8 o'clock at night so I could get extra chemistry help before a test. So, I mean, they're definitely willing to help you if you're willing to put in the effort. But I just want to say that when I first started, because I'm a day student, I was afraid all the dorm students would have their whole little family and we would never quite be as involved or like accepted per se. But I was completely blown away by the first weekend, how when the day students were coming back and we were waiting for homeroom, all the dorm students were so excited to see everyone come back to school on Monday. And I've made some really good friends who live in the dorms, and it's really no different. So don't feel like you're going to be left out. Okay.
Oh, okay. So I'll explain some of these beautiful pictures you see here. I usually take selfies, that's why mainly they're all that type of picture. So the first picture, it's me and Sarah. This was probably during a drama rehearsal during break. So Sister Raphael, if you hear, I'm sorry. And that's up in the St. Michael Center. In case, I don't know if they're going to talk about that, but the gym is up this hill that we call Killer Hill because it is pretty steep. So it's in a whole other building, so it's not part of the school. And then the next photo is me and Blaine. That was on one of our hikes for Environmental Club where we were collecting specimen samples so we could come back to the school and study them for our environmental competition. The next picture is just me carrying some books. And then the last one is the junior lounge, and that is like the back of the library, so you can see our studious juniors out here studying during our study hall. And yeah, that's it.
So there's also a few other things that we should mention about day students. Like Haley kind of touched on before, if you have something like where it's super inconvenient for you to go home and then come back for an event or some club or something like that, then there is an option to stay over in the dorms. I've done it a few times for basketball games on Saturdays or like late basketball games where I just stay over that night so that I don't have to go all the way home and then drive back again in the morning. And yeah, for like the March for Life, I also stay over. So all that, can always be an option for people who are day students.
Great. Thank you so much, ladies.
Questions? Feel free to ask.
Wonderful job.